How are you doing tonight? Come on. Because there were no bubbles back there, and I need some energy. All right, so let me tell you why I'm here today. It's because of you. Frank asked me, sure, to be here, but when I thought I had an opportunity to speak to some of the innovators, some of the entrepreneurs who are defining the future of technology from right here in DC and the neighboring areas, I thought, what a great opportunity. Genevieve Bell, by the way, I am one of her biggest fans, and I might have freaked her out backstage. See, I'm an aspiring social scientist. I look at how you and I use technology, not just so we can learn a little bit more about ourselves, not to just explore how it is a form of self-expression, but also how it's changing us, right? For example, it's one thing to have a car with a whole bunch of stuff in it. It's another thing to finance a car because we feel that driving it brings about who we are in real life. And I actually believe that how we use technology isn't just a form of self-expression, right? It is a form or a signal or a reflection of who we want to be. And it's the study of that that is going to make us more relevant in the future. It's understanding who it is that you are, how you use technology, who it is that you're trying to reach, and what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or what you're trying to enable or empower or change. That's what this is about. So it is about you. Occupy Spain. 40,000 people show up to say, we fucking had enough, right? And it's time to change. And this isn't a political speech because it's in DC and I felt motivated. It's a fucking reality. And the question is, who in this audience is trying to change things for the better? I don't need another app that allows me to check in. I don't need another technology that allows me to tweet while I'm driving. What I need is the ability to do something that matters. That's your job. That's our job. We can innovate. Thank you. We can innovate all we want. But if it doesn't matter, then we are adding to the noise and not the signal. This is our job. The brunt has been put on our shoulders by people who didn't think ahead enough. And we have an opportunity to do something really amazing. So since we're technologists, since we're geeks at heart, we've got to look at this opportunity and really think about it. Anyone can create an app. Anyone can create an application that's going to do something really cool, but what's going to make it matter? What's going to make people do something that they couldn't do before you introduced? How many apps are in the App Store? Siri, can you change my slide, please? Wait, Siri, can you actually help me tell the audience something important? Oh, no, you can't. That's up to us, right? And there are some massive trends taking place, and it's the convergence of these three in different ways that matter, right? Mobile, social, real-time, that's the golden triangle of everything wrapped around this buzzword of clouds and gamification and you name it. It's what we do with this that matters. It's because we understand who we're trying to reach, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish that matters. How all of this that comes together because we thought about it, how it's going to help people do something differently, how it's going to help our business help people communicate better internally, right? Because I can't tell you how many companies I talk to every single day that says, man, did you see what we did on Facebook? Did you study the best practices? Did you read our guidelines and do's and don'ts and social media policies? And I said, no. Because you didn't care to stop and think about why you were even in social media in the first place. Because you didn't stop to think about the experiences you were trying to create. You didn't stop to think about your employees and why they matter. That your biggest detractors aren't the people who are complaining about you on Twitter, they're the ones who work for you that are unhappy in their job. What are you going to do about that? And what are you going to do about empowering them to empower your customers? And how is technology going to facilitate that? Every single one of us is connected to one another. And that's what this is all about. For those who got the book, you'll read that actually what's more important, actually even if you didn't get the book, what's more important about what's going on right now is about how we're connected to one another. And not what we can do with this, but who we're becoming as a connected society. I believe that we're at the cusp of what I call digital Darwinism, right? Some companies like Blockbuster, Borders. Sure, their management didn't see what was coming. But at the end of the day, behavior changed. We changed. How we consume content, what we do with it, what we use with technology, how we communicate with one another, it changed. And unless you can recognize opportunities, and unless you have an infrastructure that can recognize it and adapt to it or lead it, man, we are lost. And that's why your role in all of this is so important now more than ever. It's not to just say, yeah, we need an app because everybody has an iPhone, everybody has a Droid. It's because you actually recognize that there's an opportunity, something to do more important than we ever could today. I say this with all the love in my heart. We've created an ecosystem. We are at the center of our own universe, and how incredible is that? We literally make people and information and content and applications revolve around us. The people I follow, the businesses I follow, are not the same as the ones that you follow. My experience is unique to me. It's my job to make that experience matter. It's your job to make that experience matter. For the developers in this room, the innovators in this room, the entrepreneurs in this room, it's your job to make it matter, to be part of my ecosystem. The thing that we keep missing or overlooking is that the people in this room are the people of the future. We don't make the decisions like our parents or our parents' parents. Not at all. That's the traditional consumer. They read magazines, they watch television, they listen to the radio. That's cool. Fine. The online consumer, they'll start their search with Google. They're cool with Craigslist. They're probably buying off of eBay. Again, how we're reaching them? Probably fine. But this is us. This is you and me. We are connected. We wouldn't even go to Google first. We would go to Twitter. Hey guys, thinking about buying this. What do you think? Anybody had experience with that? Because we want the human algorithm to give us feedback. And it's not because I was able to check into a location. It was because I trusted you enough to be connected to you because the information that you sent back to me was valuable. You just helped my online experience. Do I need this app? I would hate to bump into a pole, so much so that I'm tweeting and texting and emailing, operating the camera of my phone. This is the society in which we live. We are always connected. How do you innovate around that? How do you innovate around that? Understanding that they're not distracted, they're plugged in. You're not distracted, you're actually serving a purpose. You're getting smarter and you're helping people get smarter around, at least I hope you are, around you, based on what you consume and what you share. This is the reality, right? I mean, I can barely see you, but I just got to ask. How many people are on Twitter right now? Okay, look at that. That's crazy. That's if you don't have AT&T. I'm sorry, AT&T. I'm sure there would have been more hands. The reality, though, is that you're not just trying to create an app. You're not just trying to create a mobile experience. You're not just trying to communicate to an audience, right? Let's pretend I'm a brand. Let's pretend I'm a business trying to figure out who it is I'm trying to reach and how to be compelling to them. It's not about trying to captivate your attention in this room right now. That's part of it. That's the given. Anybody can do that. It changes everything when I decide to connect to the people that you're connected to right now. Because there's what, 2,000 people in this room? Collectively, I could probably be reaching 200,000 people right now. And so I'm going to choose the words that I say carefully so that you don't just feel like, oh yeah, nod my head, like, yeah, what he's saying is right. No. It's got to be good enough for you to share it with the people that you're connected to, and that's our job. I got to speak to you and through you at the same time. That changes everything. What I say, what I show you, what I write, every single slide is going to be less than 140 characters. I've had to change how I think about how I market to you. And that's the part that businesses are missing. That's the part that we as entrepreneurs are missing, because we assume that the audience is the audience. We assume that because we hit the App Store, we made it. But in reality, that's the opportunity, right? I like it. But this is what it's about. It's not just about that little app. It's about walking into an environment where you bring the online and offline worlds together. For example, you might walk into a retail shop and you see something you love and you're going to scan that barcode, you're going to see a QR code, you're going to check in on Foursquare, you're going to tweet pic this, you're going to Instagram this. You bring it all to life. And the people who are connected to you are fascinated because you all share similar interests. Your job is a connector, a curator, but at the same time, you're endorsing every single one of those products, including the place that you walked into. What an amazing opportunity for us to do something more. When Facebook introduced frictionless sharing through their new Open Graph API, everybody was crazy. Like, oh yeah, this is going to be fantastic. You had the Washington Post social reader. You had Spotify. All of these apps that were coming out that would just start automatically updating your timeline without you ever having to do anything. Brilliant, the developers said. The first thing I learned was my friends have really crappy taste in music. The second thing I learned was that the onus of this is not on just the developers. The owners of this, the experience, is on Facebook. And I was doing this interview with the Wall Street Journal, and they said, you know, we were talking to the developers about this open graph, asking if people were going to get really pissed off about the fact that they were spamming their friend's timeline. They said, well, we don't care. That's on Facebook. And in reality, it's on you. If you are not creating a really amazing experience, right? The app can deliver experience, but if it's not worth sharing, then it's not worth sharing. Anything beyond that is spam. And we need to be mindful because the future of connected consumerism is around shared experiences. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you love this? Is it good enough for you to share? Because the reality is that these applications are enabling an entirely new form of not just consumerism, perception, influence. Businesses are not created because I say this is what I am, I bought a lot of media, I am pushing it out there and beating the drum until you start to believe I am who I say I am. It is what you experience. It is what your friends experience. And as a connected consumer, I'm going to go to the search box and see what it is that you think. Or I'm going to ask you, right? Like I did with some friends about a particular airline. What do you guys think about this airline? Take the stream and feed it into Wordle. Not terribly complicated to see that my friends don't like this airline. That's, to my friends, and now to me, the value of this airline. I have now discounted it as an option. I ran the same word cloud for the airline's website. They were really different. I didn't know if that was intentional or not. But this is the reality for us, for the connected consumer. If you are not in front of this, then you are forever reacting to it. And if you look at the Twitter stream of this airline, it's like, oh, sorry, oh, shit, oops, I'm sorry, what can we do? Well, how about fix it? Do you know that Virgin America intentionally takes all of their employees to things like offsites and training and how to be happy so that you have a great experience? That the mood lighting on the plane, the music that you hear, it's all designed to make you happy and think that you're in a better place. And quite honestly, most of us are at that time. And that's why if you run the same test with Virgin America, you get a completely different response. The point is that it's created, it's defined. If you've ever heard of the sales funnel, I'd like for you to officially call it dead, because this is now the decision-making path of us, and it never ends. We ask people, we get responses, we look at things, we ask things, we buy things, we share our experience with it, and ultimately, it influences the decision-making process of everyone else. But the thing about mobile is that it's not just connected, it's hyper-connected. And the reality of this is that we must create a unique experience for these devices. How many of you, by a round of applause, have visited a website on your iPad or iPhone or Droid and not been able to look at the site? It shouldn't be that loud. Maybe one or two. But look at all of us. We can't even experience what it is you're trying to give us because it won't work on our mobile device, really? And we're trying to innovate? And we have to go back to website basics? This is the opportunity, right? Facebook users on mobile alone are twice as active as regular users. People are walking into stores and they're automatically updating their status with RFID. People are getting Shopkick and they're getting deals because they're shopping in the store because of the phone they own. They're checking out without checking out. The whole experience is starting to go around mobile. People are checking prices when they're in the store. They're asking people if this is the right purchase while they're in the store. The whole thing is now starting to move to the mobile device. The question is, what happens on the other side of the response? Are you designing that experience to steer people in a positive direction? So there's this service called Cloud. Pretty sure everybody in this room has checked their score. Businesses are recognizing that you're important because you're connected. You're already indexed, whether you wanted to or not. But this is what consumerism is coming down to. Rather than saying this is what our brand is going to give you, our experience is going to give you, what you're going to get out of it, we instead send you t-shirts or a headband or a new bracelet or something you really don't need. Instead of saying, you're important, how can we be better for you? You've got excellent influence. What is it that we could do to make you love us all the more? Can we bring you in? Can you be an advisor? Instead, we try to send you swag because you're connected. Then they redid their algorithm. We could talk about that later. But the reality is, I didn't ask for this. What I am asking for is for you to be thoughtful about what you design, what it is that you market, how it is that you try to connect with me. Think about this moment. Think about what it is that you are going to do. Well, I was going to say what you're going to do tomorrow, but I know what you're going to be tomorrow. You're going to take some Advil from the hangover you're going to have tonight, and then go to more conferences as part of DC Week. So Monday, let's talk about Monday. What are you going to do on Monday? You're going to go back to work. You've got your to-do list. You're really excited about what it is you're working on. At least I hope you are. But I'd like you to just kind of stop. Sit back in your chair and say, you know what? Just heard this guy, Brian. He gave me the finger. And he challenged us to say, you know, what are we doing right now that is actually going to matter, that people are going to go out and specifically find and talk about and share with others because it actually means something? Understanding that people are so disconnected, that people are connected, that people are distracted, that people are engaged, people are curating, consuming, creating. How do we be part of their daily lives in a way that not only they love, but they love to share? And that is actually what I'm focusing on, is understanding that. Because let me tell you that when I do research, I can tell you that there's a massive disconnect in what people actually want or their aspirations are that they hope to become, and what it is that a lot of businesses are trying to create for them, and more frankly, governments at the same time. There is a massive disconnect because the businesses, the organizations, are not actually taking the time to say, hey, what do you want on this side? Everybody believes that they're the next Steve Jobs. Well, we don't need to ask them. We'll just tell them what they want. No. One man and one man only. For the rest of us, we have to figure it out. And we got to be great. And we need to recognize that we understand what it is that you have said, what's important to you. And that's where innovation takes place. We don't need them to tell us what to do. We need to be inspired by what they're doing or what they can't do. And that's the challenge I bring to you on Monday. What can you do differently that inspires someone to be part of what it is that you're doing because it's just that amazing? That's what I leave you with. Thank you very much.